Welcome back. Here for Summer League. Just had uh, our match finish up in attendance in 0. Now we're seeing Walpe and IBA face off now. So we're just getting ready here to send us off. I am Double A Dewey, and I am joined by my co-commentator here. You can introduce yourself now.
Yes, I am Little Herdez, or aka Herdez, as everybody knows me. But yeah, excited to see this. This is a rematch from one of the Swiss rounds. So they got paired up, and we're going to see if IBA can get the redemption from the rematch here. So it should be very interesting. It's going to be a very close race, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, very exciting to watch. And we are getting off here in just a little bit, giving them the countdown now. But so we can take a quick look at our objectives, what kind of seed we're laid out here.
Not bad objectives.
I'll say, yeah, not too bad. Not very many datas, only having data Roxas, then of course the F silhouette for Vexen. So some people might look at this board and say that we have a pretty easy board ahead of us. We see that also. I assume that Walpe is just marking most of the first visit ones.
That's what
he
it
does.
looks like.
He does also have Lockjaw and Barrel, so that's why I'm a little confused. But
I think the way I've seen Walpe always do his markings is he either does like all of like the quick objectives that he can do, or he likes to mark the ones that he's like, hey, I'm gonna plan this because
exactly, I'm gonna hope that this works. But...
yeah. But we all know from these settings that it may not always go that way. But yeah,
you're telling me.
But yeah, he tends to mark which ones he wants to do on his route and which ones he's like, okay, this will kind of work in my favor. From IBA side, IBA does the traditional I've seen most people do, which is just mark as you get items to know what's available.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna see why I say that of just using. If people aren't familiar with like why they're marking things, obviously there is the color that gets marked if an actual objective is collected, but you can also have an annotating color just to separate it from its default, which most people just do that for once an objective is available, or sometimes some other personal things just to keep in their head, just because there's a lot going on. Rando is very fast-paced already, so the more you can do to help yourself keep a lot of that straight, then the better it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. So we see
what they start off with. Here.
Yes. So IBA getting some quick levels with that Trinity limit that they have, that they either found in the World That Never Was or started off with. But Walpe went straight into Disney Castle, found 2 unlocks, which is Beast Castle and Pride Lands, and
never punished.
Never punished. He's gonna go get these 26 checks, I believe it is, which is always good, and get a free prog point off of Simba. So not bad. Quick levels as well too that you get from there.
My jokey demeanor referencing the fact that typically if you're kind of hoping to start with the PL unlock of the Proud Fang, because the RNG manipulation is set up where you'll always get the RC there. If you don't have the RC to start, there is a kind of backup strat, but it is a little bit of a crapshoot of you basically trying to bait out that RC. But if you don't actually know how that RC naturally comes out, it comes while they're doing a really treacherous bite attack that is really difficult to dodge and usually one-shots you. So it can turn really sour really quick. But even though we didn't start with it, Walpe just went in and full committed to the RNG manip and still got it. So Walpe continuing to never be punished in these settings.
Never punish these settings. He always finds a way to just have it fall into his hands here. But we've seen IBA do some crazy things, such as right now he's doing the quick prog point in 100 Acre Woods. It's not bad. Get the first 6, get a quick prog point, because their world starts, their world unlocks that they start off with is a lot of worlds that you typically want to hold off on and push deeper into. Like Hollow Bastion 1 is fine, you do Bailey, but skill and crossbones without any kind of magic, PR is kind of sketchy. LOD, you kind of want some AoE, like maybe a magnet, vicinity break, leap, explosion, something to kind of help out with that. So him going into Disney Castle, finding Beast Castle, and Proud Fang is going to be really nice, because then they can start getting some of those magics to head into those deeper worlds that they started off with.
Yeah, we'll see if IBA decides to immediately go into Proudlands, or if we're going to see him opt to come back with maybe a reflector or a magnet, because that does make that fight significantly safer. Or you can just try your luck, just try to dodge and get ready for that RC. If not, though, I wouldn't be that surprised if we see maybe a dip into Beast Castle, because that one also isn't like so bad. People are a little, if you haven't like had the opportunity, are gonna be a little scared of Thresholder without a lot of tools. The gargoyles can of course be very daunting, but I mean,
Yeah.
you can keep the level 1 strat, honestly, and just see if you can take care of the gargoyles immediately and spawn the bats and backtrack into the carry through that fight.
With finding that Blizzard actually pretty early, what they could do is just not move, and as long as you just launch Blizzards, it will hit Thresholder and won't spawn the gargoyles, and then you deal with gargoyles afterwards. Or you
That's
go
true.
down the route of Walpe and never get punished and find a magnet on Wisdom. This guy never gets. He has a Wisdom, he has a Thunder, he has a Magnet. Okay, and Blizzard. Oh, he has Blizzara. Sorry. Okay, Walpe's never punished. We need to. Okay, somebody roll a seed.
Somebody's
so
the humble
at
him.
least. Yeah, somebody roll him with a seed so he gets humbled at least once. He's quickly checking the shop. No duck flare in there, so no flare force. It will be on a staff somewhere. Maybe they come across it, maybe they don't. But nice tool to make some fights very easily, very easy. But on this card, not gonna be probably widely like used a whole lot. They are getting some nice tools to kind of supplement that though, if they don't have flare force.
Yeah, not
As
too
for
bad.
IBA, pushing the mouse and actually find an experience boost on the mini push, mini experience boost and berserk charge. So kind of nice. Can level up pretty early in PR. So we'll see when they decide to do the experience boost there because they don't have access to SP. So that PR minifight's pretty good, especially with the Blizzara that they have. It would be pretty nice and pretty quick to get some quick levels. All right, so IBA going into Pride Lands. We're going to see how they handle this first fight because they may or may not get the RC. It's just going to be totally RNG now because they did a couple fights. So we'll see if they know the backup strat if they don't get the RC right off the bat.
Yeah. Oh, they did get the RC, but they just didn't go for it.
No, I think they just didn't think that they were going to get it, and they just wanted to do the quick, attacks.
Oof. I'll say how IBA is handling it is the other way you can handle it, which is a little more of an aggressive strat of just these aerial impulses will immediately stagger the living bone, so you don't have to really deal with it immediately. But that isn't going to stop both of them. You can do some like cheeky target switching to get around that, which you did see IBA taking advantage of. So obviously gets through it, but definitely can be a lot scarier.
Walpe found Light and Darkness either on a Keyblade or an ability because he's forcing final right here, probably at the fastest spot that you can do it, which is
fastest
in the Bazaar. Yeah. What you take like 2 steps in and the enemy spawns immediately. So it's
or Walpe just wastes time by dodging forward, just getting rid of the point of being in such a fast spot. But hasn't been punished so far, so not going to start now, right?
Exactly. So Light and Darkness was on a Keyblade. It was on Follow the Wind. So I imagine it was one of these chest pickups. So IBA should have it here already, if not very shortly, and be able to force final as well too. All right. So after you do your shotguns, I wonder which world you have now all of HB2 access and you have OC access. So I imagine with Final Form, you either push Twilight Town to go do Station Fight, get some final levels, or just push into Hollow Bastion just to get some more checks, because those two are pretty dense with checks very early on, and HB2 is not very bad to get into once you get past that first Bailey fight.
Yeah, and they do also both already have their extra glide, which will make movement just nicer in general in HP. So it will be good checks per minute.
Exactly. So let's see. So they have a handful of objectives already available. I wonder if Walpe's just going to immediately start going for objectives and start pushing that since one is here, or if it's just going to decide, yeah, I'm going to finish my shotguns, and then I'll make a decision of which route I'm going. So I'm going to hop into OC and get these first 7 checks as well too, hoping for some nice tools to make their adventures into some shotguns and deeper visits very nice and easy. Stats are not bad though to start off with. 16, 18 at level 9 and level 10, so not bad at all. We'll see how these stats though kind of they usually start off pretty decent and then they just never decide to go any higher, so you kind of end up doing the whole seed level 1. So we'll see if the stats come too, or if accessories are just going to come into play.
Other that being said, it actually, the way that the XT does work out in these settings, it is kind of the opposite. At least it is on paper, where the first set of level up checks only give you 1 stat per stat up instead of 2 like the normal game does. So if we can start getting some levels in, then we can actually get some pretty strong stats. But of course, at that point, all you get is defense and AP.
You end up with 30 strength, 30 defense, and your AP max, and just wondering where the rest of your stats are. I've had plenty of those seeds before.
Oh yeah. Well, just think: would you rather have high strength or have all the AP to equip the strong abilities?
You know, I do love my abilities, so I'll take the AP for 100.
Like people want that glass cannon seed, but I don't know if you ever had the situation where you almost have too many good abilities and you just can't equip any of them, and it hurts so bad.
It does. You take a look at like, okay, what can I take off? What am I going to put on? So haven't had too many of those issues here, but we'll see. IBA is doing Bailey fight. Did find 2 fires actually in Hollow Bastion, so that's all 3 fires already found. 1 in Agrabah and then 2 in Hollow Bastion shotgun. So final fire is gonna go pretty good. All right, we'll probably see Walpe do the station fight here because they have final form. Yeah, gonna head up there, get some final form levels, and see what's behind station fight.
Yeah, it always feels very good when you get final form early in a seed, because it really can hurt you a lot in a seed when you want to hold off on entering the station here without final.
Yeah,
because you can't really wait too long, just because, especially when it's one of your first worlds, your entire seed could potentially open up from going forward here. But you're seeing how nice it is at being able to quickly level final, so that is why you hold off.
Yeah, because even once you kind of do this and you do HB1, you really don't have a good place to level up final. So having it very early, like you're saying, is very nice, because then you can get those quick levels off and say, okay, I can worry about the rest of my final levels later when I get other forms. Exactly,
and final form is one of, if not the strongest, not even just a combat form, but as utility. Because it has its growth ability of glide attached to it, and as you level up the form, that glide will also get stronger.
Yeah. So we did see IBA getting their first hint. They are the ones to get the hint first because they did a couple extra progression point checks. So we have, what is it? The World Never Was, because their tracker layout is so different from mine. I get lost on which ones I'm looking at, and they use the other icons too. So
yeah, they really are trying to mess with us here.
So that is...
I stand by. We need to start enforcing settings for the sake of our streams. I'm actually like, come on, man.
Looked at it. I was looking at Walpe's, and then I looked at his. I'm like, wait a minute. That's STT on Walpe's side. So is that Twilight? No. So that is the World That Never Was has limit form. OC has actually double the weight of the Dawn, so that's your access to the World That Never Was. And then LOD has a couple good actually just Skill and Crossbones, the second Bone Fist, STT, and Identity Disc. So that's pretty good. They will have access to that. It's just a wondering of, do I go there? Because you do have 2 objectives, but if all those unlocks are in Throne Room, you're going to LOD2 for a couple unlocks. So hopefully they're early and they can get it done by LOD1.
It's not to keep on harping on this, but not only are they using 2 different tracker layouts, they're both using the wrong ones.
They are.
They're neither of them using default. They're using two of the ones that just try to wreck your brain, and I don't think we should stand for it.
So WallpeSH is the
Wobbies is the default game route.
game route.
I think it's called just like world order, and
The world,
then
or is it
IB
classic layout? One of
that
them's called
probably
classic.
is. One's
Yeah.
classic layout. One's called I think it's classic as the default, and then I think this one's called like world layout. And I think IBA's is called GOA layout, which
To
I
me,
do like
they're
that one
both wrong.
more. I do like that one more because
Yes.
at least I think it's a tiny bit more intuitive. The only issue is a circle doesn't work, does not translate to two columns.
It always confuses me. So, but we'll get the hang of it probably by the end of the
Yeah.
seed when
We'll
they're
release 2.6.8 and remove all of the accessibility options, and we will enforce one correct one. Look, I don't understand the issues here.
all
And
right.
Duck
So
Flare, never punished. Come on,
never
man.
punished. Okay.
Get this guy out of here.
So IBA's heading up the world the world never was. See, I looked at the world that never was, and I looked at WallpeSH tracker. He's heading up Twilight Town, so heading up Yensid's Tower, gonna complete Twilight Town 1, just to see what else is maybe hiding here later on. Oh, I just noticed. IBA has Magnega as well too. So IBA has
Oh, in HB2
HB2, yeah.
or in HB1.
Oh no,
actually. It wasn't
HB1,
even-
HB1. It was on Bailey, and
It was-
then
Yeah, Wobby just
that
has
was-
not entered Hollow Bastion at all, let alone HB1.
I don't think he is.
No, yeah, there's no question. There's no chest next to it, so he has not even shotgunned it.
Yeah, well, I don't. So Walpe likes to like,
Start
hey,
pushing
if a
worlds immediately.
if a world doesn't have my objective, I'm never touching it. That's like kind of his philosophy on how he routes these. So it's very interesting that he's actually pushing deeper into BC because as many seasons as I've watched him play, he kind of just stops right at the objective and says, I'm out. I'm going to my other objectives. So probably looking for a little bit extra tools before he just starts saying, I'm going to full send objectives.
BC, in my opinion, is the home of the lost cost, what is it? The sunk cost fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
Every inch you take into it makes you want to go eat slightly further into it. You do your shotgun, but at that point, you're ending right by the wardrobe, so you might as well just do Threshold. And then you do Threshold, and you're like, well, at that point, that same logic means I should do Beast. And then you do Beast, you're like, well, that same logic means I should do Darkthorn. And then you're like, well, it's not done. Rumbling Rose check is super fast, and I get experience on the way. And at that point, why don't you just finish off the world? Just do Zaldin.
Yeah.
So every inch of it is just pulling you to the next thing. There are a couple worlds that are like that. STP is the same way. But what I do like about this is Walpe is weighing the idea of Hollow Bastion versus Beast Castle, whereas obviously one of these worlds I have to go to. One of these worlds I don't. And now that I know I've gone here probably earlier than my opponent, let me play to that lead and just keep going to that world knowing that I'm here first. And anything I find here, I'm going to just keep, and I can maybe metagame off of that.
Yeah. And BC is some nice prog points compared to going to Hollow Bastion 1 and then going all the way to Hollow Bastion 2. So the BC, you can get it done pretty quickly the first visit, plus you get a nice set of prog points as you go through that as well too. A little bit, I would say, a little bit quicker than doing HB1 and then HB2. So probably weighing that progression point, checks per minute, as we like to call it. So probably decided BC is just a better choice than Hollow Bastion currently.
And then that same logic applying to go into LOD here, which we have Magnera here. I do not blame him at all for picking LOD. I am definitely worried that the longer you choose to neglect a world, the more incentivized you are to not ever go there. Because the longer a seat goes, you're going to get more tools. And the more tools you have, the less you need, which means the less that you're going to push for anything. So anything that's in Hollow Bastion, eventually he will just go, I'm sure that there's nothing good in there. and maybe there's an explosion in there, maybe there's an experience boost in there. Even if it's not something that's required, the idea of just completely neglecting the shotgun is a very dangerous precedent to set for yourself.
Yeah, there's been a couple seeds where I've done the same thing too, where I'm just like, you know what? I've done the mindset of like, I'm too far into this. I'm just never going to touch it. And even if I just spent like the minute or two into that world, it changes the whole complexity of the seed. Like you find something that just makes your route either that much faster or makes it that much easier, like a little bit easier to get through stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see when Walpe decides like if he's going to end up going into Hollow Bastion at some point, or if he's just going to fully sack it for the whole seed.
Yeah, and that type of thing, like, on the one hand, while you are potentially saving that time, on the other hand, like, anything you find there can, the earlier you get, be instrumental to that seed. And yeah, you're right, like, oh, well, sometimes you need to weigh the risk of what you can find there versus the time you save flat from doing it. And in the case of HV1, if you do Bailey and you have second magic card, you're going to go to the computer. Like, there's just no reason not to. There's so many chests in HV2, so you really just have to. So, that's like a 2-minute commitment for a significant amount of chests. Also, that you're getting access to. Membership card, the first one, was one of the first available. So, a lot of times you need to consider your Sphere Zero of like the first few worlds you have are the building blocks of where the seed goes. So you really don't want to just entirely neglect that.
Exactly. So,
because could you luck into a route from finding other things? Yeah. Do I ever luck into a route that benefits me? No.
Unless your name's Walpe, right?
Yeah. This guy.
What I did notice was, so IBA is doing the heading down to Treasure Room to get that objective. Did get their next hint, which does say that Disney Castle doesn't have any more world unlocks, and Drive Forms has a torn page, and that's about it. All on those for world unlocks. They could still have magics. Magics aren't hinted on our hints, so they still could have checks. It's just the major players of world unlocks and pages. Disney Castle's done, and Drives just has one torn page. What I did want to point out, though, I don't know if you noticed, Double, but so IBA used Whirligoof, and it actually wasn't called Whirligoof. It was called like IBA Stanza or something like that. So I guess he has a mod on that changes it, which I found very interesting. I don't know the lore behind that, but it's not called Whirligoof on IBA side.
Fascinating. I do know of some text mods that change it to Goofy Coggers.
See, so yeah, he has a mod on that does change that. So
we will be banning as a player. Just unfortunately that we can't allow modifications of the game of any kind. So just pay no regard to the org member on the other side of your screen.
Don't tell that to Danimal and his 100+ mods.
At some point, enough's got to be enough, right?
So, Walpe doing some magnet strats in the minute fight of LOD to try to get some experience, but also get some extra money. I know he did pick up a money pouch here very early on in Checkpoint, but it's still not bad to get that extra bit of money. You never know when you're going to need a little bit more. It does find the final vial form on 15. IBA already found it, and also heads straight into LOD to follow Walpe. So each took different routes to get here, but we're going to see them push all the way through LOD1. It does have 2 objectives, so you want to kind of get this out of the way. You already have the hint here. Hopefully you're wanting all your visit unlocks. If you don't get them, then you decide later if you have to come back. Actually, will they come back for any of just the Bonefist, right? Oh, Bonefist and Identity Disc, never mind. So speaking back up on that Hollow Bastion, LOD2 access was in HB1. So if Walpe never goes, then he's never going to get any of these world unlocks if they don't pop up here.
Yeah, and that's a lot of locks. I don't think that they're coming up here.
Yeah, because actually
not enough checks.
Yeah, so you're only gonna get what 2 or 3 more on Shan Yu, and that's it? Because you get the pop-up, and then
I think
is
it's
it
3
1?
because I think it's
It's
an
3,
8.
yeah.
I think vanilla it's an HP upgrade, retarding slash, and hidden dragon.
Yeah. So, we keep talking about Walpy's never punished, so we'll find out if he
We'll
actually
see
gets
the
punished this
3 that
time.
he needs.
It is, because it gives you 3
Yep.
more objectives, so, um, we'll find out if he ever gets it. I imagine he's probably gonna say, "I need these," if he doesn't get it, and is probably
Just
gonna go to
because
every
it's
one
so,
eventually.
like, when you pushed all the way through LD1, it's just what you want to do
Yeah,
here.
exactly, because you only have 1 more fight after. Well, 2 more fights, 3 more fights, sorry, 3 more fights. Riku, the fight before the throne room, and then, well, the hallway of the throne room, and then the one outside the palace.
Oh, and one of those
So,
checks is guaranteed showing you. So yeah, 2 checks. Yeah,
alright.
that's one of them gone. So only 1 check left here.
Any unlocks?
Yeah,
Oh, they're all in
that's
throne
none of
room.
them. They're all there.
So he is gonna have to go to Hollow Bastion at some point. Well, he doesn't have to, but he probably should, because that's his SP2 access when he finds the other identity disc, unless he sacks it. That is his Halloween Town 2 access, unless he decides to sack it, and his STT, unless he decides to sack that as well too. So Walpy either knows what he's already sacking, or he's just waiting for where the hint of the LOD2 access is going to be. And IBA following suit. We're going to see if they have like I said, Magnega. So their minute fight, if they choose to use magnets there, can be that much quicker, or not that much quicker, but they can get a little bit more levels on there, because Magnega, you just do the jump and you do your magnet, and you get a lot of kills very quickly on that, and you can get a lot of money as well too. All right. And Walpy heading to his treasure room fight. So we're going to see a little bit of overlapping here. We'll see where Walpy decides to go afterwards, and we'll see if IBA, after their LOD trek, decides to head into BC. They do have the wisdom, they do have valor, so they can do some nice leveling of their drive forms. They may not necessarily need it, but you never know. You can find some good abilities on those levels as well too.
I didn't even track though. IBA hasn't touched BC. They're really all just neglecting all these worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Very like-minded players here.
Exactly. I imagine we're probably going to see a little bit of overlap after all this. I also didn't notice, and I failed to realize that Wisdom 5 was an objective. So I was wondering why Walpy was still leveling it. So he gets his objective for Wisdom 5. I imagine IBA is going to use the BC to get Wisdom 5. Because they now have... Actually, they haven't forced Final. Huh. No, they haven't forced Final, so they don't have access.
That's definitely a really tough spot to begin. Reminded that neither player has a reflect at this point. So those Fat Bandits, every single time you use a Blizzard or a Thunder, it will stagger them in a way that they will either do the punch or throw the fireball. So you need to be ready for that, and you don't exactly have room to dodge here. So it's definitely rough.
The Fat Bandits are.
So they do have Group Trinity as an option, which I have. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, Fat Bandits in that small room is not very nice. If you don't have a Thunder, if you don't have something to kill them quickly, yeah, you can be caught off guard. Like we saw.
Yeah,
with
3
Walpy,
large enemies that also parry you if you attack from the front, and you have no space to go. Little mean.
And have some pretty nasty attacks as well too. A punch, a ground pound.
Also, their like flame breath covers the 80% of the entire area. Like,
yeah, it's not a fun fight. It's not a fun fight if you can't get through it. So, Walpy getting their second Royal Summons, immediately saying, "I'm gonna go to Disney Castle, go get my future Pete," and it's gonna be rewarded at least with this experience boost off of Mini Push.
That is true.
So, all right. Well, then we'll see what's in. Actually, those would be just magnets in magics. See, I can't even speak correctly. but they'll just be magics in TR. We'll see how many magics, if they're nice or if they're just more cures.
All right, maybe we finally get that reflect that we're looking for.
No, this is gonna be a reflectless lead. Trust. Then they're surely not gonna find 2 reflects in TR.
Oh, the R in TR might stand for reflect.
True. All right, so there is the
World of
IBA.
Goof.
Yeah, IBA Stratziga. Interesting. Nice mod. But some nice use of Whirly Goof.
That was a very good use of Whirly Goof. Also, getting that Valor Berry, excellent. I'll say, those that haven't like tried that, it is not like easy. It's of course like consistent, but it's not like free. So
yeah,
very good timing there. Yeah, Whirly Goof definitely an under, like, obviously everyone gets very excited when we see it, just because a little bit for the fans, and it always gets overshadowed by Duck Flare. It is incredibly powerful, because Knock Smash was nerfed, obviously, from KH2 English. Whirly Goof, not so much, because you don't really notice it as much because you get it so late in the game. But yeah, when compounded with Magnet, for bosses that get caught in Magnet, it is very strong. Also, we're seeing IBA finally, Force Final here, finally noticing that they had Light and Dark.
Yeah, so they're going to be able to do this, go into Beast Castle. Probably, they did get their next hint, sees that Beast Castle is completely dead and barren. So it's going to at least save some time, because they're just going to be able to just to do Thresholder and then immediately leave right after. So I imagine they're going to do that to get their Wisdom 5, get that objective, and then go get their Thresholder objective. Spending some money as well, too.
And getting their free elixir from having a synth item.
Going back in. Okay, so IBA does have the second LOD access. So they're able to get these other visit unlock checks. We know that they're non-super bosses, so the furthest they ever have to go is at least Stormbright.
Yeah, I do like this reasoning here, though, of the fact that they don't have access to Station anymore, so the LOD2 has some great nobody fights here. This opening here has some good dusks, and then obviously the snipers fight later.
Yeah, and getting some nice levels as well, too, because since this is the second visit, the experience you gain here is going to be a little bit higher. So able to get some levels while they get some final levels as well, too. This Riku fight, though, is going to be a little scary.
Yeah.
They do have auto limit. They have been auto limiting, but it looks as though that when they get hit, they're just outside of that range to queue up auto limit.
Yeah, no scum, and their only real option in the fight is abusing Trinity Limit and speed traps if they can get it. They really need to use the rapid thrusters, I think, to proc auto limit would be their best bet.
Yeah.
Since they'll do the smaller hits.
Getting some levels, probably going to room transition just to save this so they don't have to re-menu and all. Meanwhile, WallpeSH doing Boat Pete did find Genie in the waterway, and it dies right then and there, so there's nothing left in DC, so he can go through and finish and not have to worry about anything else. Okay, IBA first person to step fully into PR. We did see the shotgun, but now we get to see Town Fight and all the way up to Barbosa, so we'll see what else is here. Probably doing this for levels because you don't have your screens access yet. So
vanilla comment on both.
Never punished, right? Now he has both. But yeah, probably gonna get some levels to be able to go back to LOD2 and get those 3 visit unlocks that are just hiding in Throne Room.
Yeah, it's a little reminder, by the way, because IBA hasn't touched BC, does not have Duck Flare.
Oh yeah, it is there.
Thresholder is one that had Duck Flare.
So, longer he puts it off, I'm not saying I don't know why he's not going, but it's more of like I understand. It's you have nothing there, so it's like you can kind of hold off until the very end because you can get your Wisdom 5 and your Thresholder.
Exactly, and you don't even need to
do anything.
You don't need to think.
Exactly. Us knowing though that Flare Force is sitting on Threshold is kind of like we want him to go because
Yeah,
like
we call that in the business, we call that dramatic irony.
yeah, it's like just go. It's quick. It's fast. You'll get 2 objectives and you'll get a nice tool to be used. So they'll eventually make it. While Walpe finishes their Future Pete, and we'll see where they head to next. And goes straight to PR. So they'll be able to do all of PR and PR2 because that is that GR1? That's a GR1
That's
objective,
GR1,
right?
yeah.
Okay. I always
So
forget
very
if the
free.
blue. I always forget if the blue or the purple icon is, and then on the right side, I think it's what they use the other version for GR2.
I don't understand the coloring of it because GR1 is light blue, and then GR2 is red, and then it's purple and like teal on the simple ones. I've never understood it.
Yeah. Every time I look at it, I'm like, you know what? I need to hover over this icon no matter which one I'm looking at because I need to figure out which one it is. Every single time.
I'm about to recolor Televo's thing there just because I got this. Like driving me crazy sometimes. I'm like, I know what it is, but why?
Yeah. Other times, if I forget to hover over it, I'll just end up going to GR, like go do PR2 if I have access because GR1's so quick, and then you get some nice checks afterwards. That if I get the objective on GR1, cool. If I don't, then I know it's GR2. But yeah, that picture always gets me confused on which one it is. All right, so IBA doing the experience boosting on the minute fight. I imagine Walpe's probably going to do the same thing too with their experience boost. So we'll see how high they go with their experience boosting and what the stats look like. And I think he's going to get 1 more level. Oh, the pirate didn't come out in time. Just a bit short.
Yeah, stats don't look looking great. Like, they're fine, but
they're not great. They're pretty even.
They are.
You know, usually you have a discrepancy of like, hey, I'm getting a lot of magic, which is nice, but no strength. And then either you get a lot of strength and no magic. It's actually pretty even, so I'm not complaining too much, but you're still complaining because you kind of want more stats.
Yeah, in this situation, you probably want more strength just because we still don't have that reflect, and I want to say if they have guard break, but I could be as a remember. Oof.
The bomb. I was watching the bomb. I was like, is he gonna dodge it in time? Because he tossed out that thunder. I'm like, I don't think you have enough time to move after you do the animation.
Yeah, the bomb is a really good way of just sneaking up on you because it's so small. So if you're not really paying attention during that fight, it can just be right below you and you don't even notice.
All right, we're back for round 2.
Unintentional EXP boosting here. Gonna be a little scary, but
no, very calculated. Very calculated. It is still kind of scary though because they just toss bombs and you, like you were saying earlier, they just kind of sneak up on you like that one.
Okay, we're good.
It's always frightening. It's frightening every single time because at the end there's so many of them that toss bombs that you have to just kind of position yourself that you're not running into another one.
Yeah, very, very frightening. Galileo.
I was trying to figure out what song it was. In my head, I was singing it. I was like, what song is it? What's the next
very,
song?
very frightening me.
All right, so are we taking bets? Where are these reflects that they haven't found yet? I know it's early in the seed, but do you have a guess?
At least one's in core.
You think one's in core? Okay.
I think core. And I'm gonna say OC.
You gonna say OC? I think it's gonna be an OC because they're never gonna go because they don't need the weight of the Dons.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say one is an OC, and just to be very rude about this and a commentator curse, I think the other 2 are in the World That Never Was.
Yes, of course, because then there's the Limiformian.
Yeah. I think if you get access to the World That Never Was, you get limited form and reflects very, very quickly right before Zigbar.
Oh yeah.
Just because
First you
that's
check
how.
after Roxas.
Yeah, that's how these seeds tend to play out, because you're like, okay, I'm never gonna find it, and then all of a sudden you find everything after you just decide to go and do a fight.
Also, I didn't even notice on my base side, there's Bone Fist, then a Horizontal Slash. So they do have Berserk Hori.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
The only fight that I can really see that being much of a difference on is Data Roxas, if they go to do that. If they're comfortable with setting that up, since they're probably not going to get that limit form from one that ever was.
Yeah, so the longer that... Well, actually... Oh, so wait. So now that I think about this, HB1 is required, isn't it? Because you need STT, the other Bone Fist, and the Identity Disc to finish out the seed, right? Because you can't skip. There's too many missing if you don't get one of those unlocked. So you have to go do HB1 for LOD access.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah,
But
it's just a matter of...
I don't think it's that mean of a seed to require the first visit of the world that you started with.
No, it's not. It's just a matter of... It's a matter of when he decides to go, and he's going to be like, oh, it was right here. I could have had all this access a long time ago.
The world may be hollow, but not in checks.
Exactly. Look, you get your other magnet, you get your third magnet, you get your other 2 fires, and you get LODX.
See, I always love Final Blizzard because it's like so cool, but it just doesn't do enough.
No, it doesn't. It is very cool. It like you shoot.
It's like Wisdom Blizzard, where like it's all show. It actually doesn't even help usually.
I'm probably one of those.
Wisdom Blizzard is it's so cool. It doesn't hit.
Yeah, it's cool. It just is not. It's not very good to use because most of
the wizards in the shotgun just don't hit the enemy.
They hit the walls. They go all over the place. It's like, okay, just shoot it straight. All right, we'll see if there's anything in this PR2. They obviously won't go any further. They're just going to check these chests to see if there's any nice tools. Torn page. And is this a drive up? Nope, an item slot. Not bad. So they're going to finish this out and with Trinity Limit with style. And
that looked very interesting.
It was very interesting.
It looks like he was pushing him out of bounds.
So all this access to 100 Acre Woods and no hint yet for what's in there. Speaking of hints, though, we do have a couple more hints. Halloween Town we know is dead. Pride Lands doesn't have any more visit unlocks. And then, actually, Walpe just got the 100 Acre Wood hint, which does have the Identity Disc and Master Form in it. And then what's the other thing that got hinted with it?
Was that the OC? No, that was SCT. Yeah, SCT doesn't have any unlocks.
Okay, so here's Walpe doing HB1, gonna find LOD2 access and probably say, I'm going straight to LOD2 to go get the rest of my Go mode.
At this point, for sure.
Yeah, because does that put him in Go mode? He'll get the Bone Fist 2 to do Lock, Shock, and Barrel. He'll get STT to do the 2 marked ones, Axel and Roxas. And then
I was giving IBA credit. Did IBA only do Bailey?
Yeah, IBA only did Bailey because at the time he didn't do Agrabah, which had the other membership card. So he did Bailey first and then went to Agrabah and found the second membership card.
Okay.
So Walpe actually is in now logical Go mode because he's gonna get the Bone Fist and he's gonna get SCT and then push whatever he has marked. He's gonna skip SP. He's gonna skip. Actually, no. He's probably not gonna do. He's probably not gonna do Data Roxas. So probably do Vexen.
Yeah.
He'll do Vexen. Probably skip Data Roxas.
Because there's no reason not to do Vexen when you're already doing Lock Shock.
Yeah, it's a couple more fights. It's much faster than doing Data Roxas without limit form or anything that's gonna make it go quick.
Like I said, they can do Berserk Hori.
They can. It's very sketchy, but you
It's
can
tough.
do Berserkori. Yeah. I've seen it done, and it's not very, like...
It's surprising. It's easier than it looks. The hardest thing that I was complaining about is like the visual and noise pollution of it. Just because it's so much, like so loud and all the T-blades flourishing everywhere. It's so hard to keep track of your timing when you can't, when there's so much going on. Also, IBA did make it through Riku, so we are here in the sniper fight, trying to experience boost, but unfortunately just don't have... Your defense is below 20. You're not gonna get any...
Yeah. You're gonna get one shot.
No matter what.
I respect IBA for doing it because I do the same thing too. Is I'll test the waters of getting hit, and if I die, then I'm like, I'm not even gonna attempt it. But if I don't die, then it's like, cool, I can experience boost now. So I respect it. But like you said, yeah, with the defense really low, you're probably not gonna end up getting it. All right, so there's the nominee sketches. They want the bone fists on this
And
chest right here.
Yep,
And they get bone fist. All right, so Storm Rider has identity disc. They're not going to get it, and they're out. So is IBA in go mode as well too? Yeah, they're in go mode as well too.
Yeah, we have obviously TR access. We have
Vexen and Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
We have all the HT.
All of STT and Hyena's one. Yeah, they're both in go mode. Or they will soon be both in go mode. Now it just goes down to execution. So they aren't going to find... Potentially not going to find Reflex, right? Because Halloween Town's dead. Walpe's
At this
dead.
point, there's almost nowhere that can have it, yeah. Walpe is dead, that's true.
Well, STT actually can have it.
STT is their only chance.
Yeah.
Which, with where Walpe's at, there's a good chance he's not going to go to STT.
Well, he has to, doesn't he?
Does he?
He has to do... Yeah, he has to do one of them. Because he doesn't have Scimitar, the second Scimitar.
Yeah, he can't
so
go there.
He can't do...
oh, I forgot that
Solar
Axel
Sailor.
and Vader Axel.
Yeah,
that's true.
so he will do Axel and then be done. I like how IBA marked Data Roxas and not Axel 2.
He's skipping it.
He's skipping Axel 2?
Yeah.
It's the new tech he found, just like he refound the tech that was we thought was a soft lock in STT.
In Twilight.
Yeah.
Yep. And now it saves like 20 seconds.
Alright, so Walpe is now in go mode. Not even going to pick up the ability chest. I don't even remember what was in that ability chest, but not going to pick it up, and it's going to start just immediately skipping every chest because he doesn't need really anything else. Well, he wants Reflex, but I imagine he's not going to pick up any magic check, any other chest other than magic now. Because he's going to want to Reflect. Oh, IBA left STT. Interesting.
Maybe trying to get... I don't know what he's looking for here, honestly.
Maybe just looking for...
I think it's maybe his movement, if anything. Like...
Yeah, because you don't really have good movement to get through STT fast, so maybe they're like, you know what? Maybe if I just go do Thresholder, I can find some quick, easy movement. Not really going to find anything, because I think, the only thing that was here in BC was a high jump, and that's not going to help them move faster. So probably going to do this, and then go to DC afterwards to hope for more movement. I just imagine he's looking for movement out of all this.
Yeah, I assume it's just the situation of this won't really get sped up anymore, but it theoretically could speed up everything else.
Yeah.
A little bit of cope, but I think a fair amount of cope. I think it's entirely valid.
Yo, calculated getting hit and going up into the air to do that one cycle.
I wonder if he's kicking himself getting that duck flare now.
Well, it's gonna make his Halloween Town 2 and his DC Future Pete fight very quick. Probably would have liked it during
Well, yeah, it
PR
definitely
and
made WallpeSH feature Pete pretty quick. So
yeah, probably would have liked it during Port Royal and your LOD. But he did have other tools. He used auto limit, so it's not bad there.
yeah, well, I will say IBA has very well taken advantage of auto limit this seed. Whilst Walpe hasn't really relied on that at all, but Walpe did force final very early.
So here's the interesting thing that I just noticed: IBA didn't level Wisdom in BC to get that Wisdom 5.
Correct. Is there a chance that he thinks that he already got to 5?
He's probably gonna do it on Windows. Actually, I forget he does have Windows.
Definitely has. Which, yeah, if you trust yourself to do it that way, then you just do it there because it's required.
Yeah, I was thinking about like, where's he gonna level it then? But I forget he has to go all the way to Future Pete, so he's still good. I was just like, I was fully expecting him to do it in BC because you have all those Heartless right there, and you got to get a hit count anyways. So you just do that and then Trinity limit. So, but they will get it in Windows fight. It's always nice when you can do these Jack in the Box fights very, very quickly, and you don't have to kind of scamper around trying not to get hit by their Jack in the Box gun.
They're called toy soldiers.
Toy soldier. Listen, I vaguely remember some of these enemy names.
Listen, this is all I'm good for, okay? This is the only value I bring as a commentator. Is knowing the names of I know the names of the enemies.
Yeah, they will tell me the names of enemies. I'm like, listen, just tell me the location that you're talking about, and I'll be good. Just tell me what they look like, and I'm okay.
How many of the core names do you know?
None. I know the car. I don't know the official car names, but I know there's those.
Do you know the car name not in core?
No.
So they're hot rods.
Oh, the
normal ones. And depending on your translation, in core they're either mad rides or mad bumpers.
There's 2 different variations?
Yes, because there is the localization translation, and then there's the direct translation from Japanese. The same goes for the core hook bats. The localization, like the real translation, has my favorite name of an enemy, which is the Befuddlers. Whereas the direct translation is Perplex. Which, of course, befuddle and perplex mean the same thing, but befuddle is such more fun to say.
It's a fun word to say, yeah.
It's my favorite word. It's ironically my favorite word. Then the other cool ones are usually not that interesting. Of cannon guns become camo cannons, and lance soldiers become lance warriors. Aerial knockers become aerial champs. Bookmasters become rune masters. Shamans and necromancers.
No, I don't like the shamans or the book guys in core. No, not down for them. Give me the tornado ones. I forget what they're called in core.
Spring metal. It's my favorite one.
Yeah, the spring metal. Yeah,
spring metal's awesome.
I always go off of like Kingdom Hearts 1, where there's different variations of, they're called nocturnes. You have the red nocturne, the blue nocturnes, and all that.
So I hate to bear bad news. Only the red one's called nocturne. It's red nocturne, yellow opera, and blue rhapsody. Because they're all different music genres.
Yo, I'm just gonna go by colors now.
Tell me the colors. Because then in this game there's Crimson Jazz, Emerald Blues, Silver Rock, Spring Metal.
Dewey with the lore, with the enemy lore.
And in KH3 you get Gold Beat.
Gold Beat.
Yeah, those Thunder ones in Monstropolis, everyone thought were Yellow Opera's coming back. Nope. It's just another yellow one.
Just another yellow one. Meanwhile, Walpe doing presents, and IBA doing Oogie.
Whirly Goof!
More Whirly Goof strats?
That one didn't work quite as well, but we still take those.
We still take them. You know, I think IBA would be a Goofy Cogger's seed enjoyer or a settings enjoyer. So
Yeah.
if anybody has that settings, give it to IBA. I'm pretty sure he'll enjoy running those settings. Meanwhile, Wallpe doing everybody's favorite and the best fight ever made into this game, Experiment. Clearly doesn't cheat. You know, I was told by Sunzero about this, the lasers right there. I was told about your positioning of how you can direct it, of where to throw it to get it to the head, or like where to position yourself so it goes to the head. I did not know.
It's very easy, actually.
Yeah, well, I didn't know it's also based upon the distance that you are from the head as well too, because I always seem to like when you throw
If you're
it
too
spins
close to
around
it,
the
then it
head.
spins around him. Yeah, you have to be far enough away where it won't do that. You basically just think of the body like a joystick, and where Sora is around it as like you moving that joystick.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are between the two pieces, it will shoot to the next piece.
Interesting.
So
Yeah,
if you put yourself between the body and the head, it will shoot at the head.
See, it's all these minor little texts that I didn't learn until I started running Rando, and then I was watching people. I'm like, how do they do it so easily? And they go, oh yeah, it's just this way. And then I didn't learn literally until like a week or two ago that Sunzero was like, oh yeah, it's also based upon the distance too, because if you're too close, it's just gonna spin around the head. I'm like, nobody told me that. So for all of you that didn't know that, distance matters when you're tossing that head. All right, so Wallpe taking the, what is it, 5-minute trek through SCT to go to Axel. And then we'll finish up with Hyenas 1. Actually, no, we'll finish up with Hyenas 1, because they'll do Axel and Data Roxas. Wait, yeah, they're good. Oh, no. He hasn't done Vexen. I forget, sorry. He hasn't done Vexen, so he'll probably do Vexen over Data Roxas. Meanwhile, IBA's probably going to finish up Experiment here and then go straight into Vexen fight. They're kind of close still. Both of them are still pretty close. They have different objectives to do. IBA's already a little bit into STT. Just has to go do TR, finish up Future Pete, and we'll get the Wisdom there. And then has to just go through SCT. So I think IBA is just a little bit behind Wallpe.
Yeah, because Wallpe already has TR done and is now basically at the point that IBA was in STT.
Yeah.
And already has that Wisdom done. So just a little bit ahead.
Just a little bit ahead, yeah. No, still some distance to cover. There's still plenty of seeds to happen here, because you still have to fight Vexen. Vexen should be pretty smooth with your Triple Fire final, so I don't imagine too many issues with that, but we've seen some crazy things happen before. All right, so IBA using that Flare Force that they got in BC to get through Experiment very quickly. And there we go. Gonna probably head straight back in and get the Vexen objective done, and then probably head to go do some DC, some PR, or not some PR, to TR. So they're hoping that reflects here in STT, or maybe I can't even be on Hyenas 1, because Hyenas 1 only has one pop-up, right? They don't have two.
Yes, Hyenas only has one pop-up.
So they're just kind of hoping that reflects here in STT, and if not, they're doing the Seed Reflectless. And Final Fight Reflectless is very fun, in quotes. So we'll see how that goes, if they end up without a Reflect. Because you really can't cope anywhere else to try to get a Reflect anymore. You don't want to push into
forms,
OC.
you still have the option, but of course, they're kind of out of levels on forms to really work with here.
Yeah. I
Also,
guess you can
immediately duck there.
Yeah. Oh, I forget, they're level 1, so Vexen's just going to be a little bit longer.
Yeah, unfortunately getting caught there. I'm a little scarred after dealing with a very frustrating Vexen fight in the Nightmare seed I did on
The Nightmare,
the career
yeah,
charity. I
yeah,
did
because you had to
basically
do
no
what?
tools data Vexen.
I was gonna say it was no tools data Vexen if I remember. Ooh,
It was
speaking
I
of,
had Final Four, Base Fire, Combo Master, and that's mostly it.
yeah, you kind of want to reflect for that that fight because it's very
Yeah,
nice.
you're right. I really do. And I didn't
And
even have like a dawn limit or anything. Got through DM.
and that's probably actually now that I think about it, that's probably why WallpeSH also didn't do Vexen right now because no reflect. It's you kind of run into this problem where you have
Just
to.
considering Holy Town's dead, there's not really a reason to do this right now outside of like maybe hoping that a hint will tell you where something else, but it's not like it would tell you where a reflect is. So
Yeah. I guess it was more of the mindset of I'm here, I already pushed it, let me just finish it. I have Final Fire. But with your stats and all, you're gonna
now that
cut
we
it
actually
for-
got into final here, this is free.
Yeah, you're good now. There we
Yeah,
go.
because the first
Good job.
time didn't really realize how to like break Vexen's shield effectively in final without reflects, and then wasted a lot of his form gauge to do that.
Yeah, so
Whereas that
IBA
time had no issues.
yeah. That Final Finder, even though at level 1 stats for that, went by very quickly.
Well, in final form, he wasn't at level 1.
Vexen's really that low?
He's
His stats?
incredibly low.
See, I know Marluxia's the highest. I just didn't know Vexen is that.
Yeah,
I know Vexen is
Marluxia's
like
the only
lowest.
one that's even relatively high. Vexen is not the lowest. Zexian's the lowest. Because you can do it
Zexian's,
right
yeah.
after OC1. Larkscene, I believe, is the next lowest, and then I believe it's Vexen. Well, like I think Vexen is technically the second highest, but like I'm pretty sure it's still like 35 is the floor.
That's just crazy. I just remember being 40s. I just remember being 40s and you're good, except for Marluxia. Well, you're good with Marluxia still in 40s, but because you can use Final Form and get yourself above, but for everybody else, just at least be in 40s, you're okay. So, IBA finishing up their Hyenas 1, I'm probably going to go to DC and then go back to SCT to finish that up. So, going to get their 2 objectives while going to
32.
DC.
So he was 1 stat
30.
below it in base Sora. So yeah. And it's a very small cap. Damage cap is 41, so it's only 9 stats of leeway there. So it goes from doing no damage to doing a lot of damage really quick.
Interesting. I didn't know it was that low.
Yeah, for the record, Zexian, the damage floor is 17. Larkscene, the damage floor is 21. Then Lexaeus at 26, Vexen at 32, and Marluxia at 49.
Marley just has to be extra special, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Which I actually thought that he was at 50. I didn't know he was at 49, so I just learned something.
Yeah, I thought so I initially thought he was in low 40s. And then somebody told me, no, he's higher. And then I was like, okay, he's probably in 50s then. And yeah, I just know he's just higher than everybody else. All right, so both of them in STT, hoping that somewhere in this world they're finding the reflect. And I honestly don't think they're finding the reflect. Yeah, Walpy's looking nice fire boost. That fire boost is going to be really nice for Vexen.
Chicken
And
Little when it's done.
it was just
that's
so
that hurts. So yeah, no reflect.
No reflect the seed. So yeah, the reflect's looking very likely somewhere in a world that they don't have access to, whether it be OC, SP, or the world it never was. It still could be on other checks, like it still could be in Hollow Bastion, it could still be on levels, drives, Agrabah, but it's most likely in these worlds that they just don't have access to. All right, so Walpy's gonna finish up Axel 2, probably juke us all out and just do Data Roxas for the funsies. Probably not though. It'd be very interesting if he did. Alright, so missing the RC on the first one. Gonna get the second one with Axel here and then do a couple air combos. Is he gonna get DM'd right here? No, he's not. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. Commentator's curse.
This guy, come on.
Walpy finally got punished. Even if it was very slightly, he finally got punished. Alright, so Walpy done with their STT Trek. Gonna get the last chest here. Probably not gonna pick it up. Has everything that they need. Realizes that they're not gonna get a reflect and is just gonna move on. Meanwhile, IBA's doing their struggle fights. Gonna finish up Axel 2 and then just has to go finish up TR. So Walpy heads over to Pride Lands, gonna save Timon and Pumbaa, and then head straight to final fights. Alright, so hear me out. Walpy is gonna he's never gonna be punished because there's just gonna be reflect when he uses the bulkies before going into final fights. It's just gonna happen. Oh, he has to do.
We're just going.
Oh wait, no, I keep forgetting he has Data Roxas marked, and I keep thinking he's gonna do Data Roxas. He has to go do Vex Excel.
Yeah. Because he marked Data Roxas really early and was like, yeah, I'm doing this.
He really wanted to do Data Roxas. He was hoping probably that he would just stumble across Limit Form and be able to do some cool swag strat that he's learned. But nope, we get to do Vexen.
Which, in base Sora, he's already above that damage floor. So, in Final Form, I'm sure he's going to shred.
Yeah. And he got that fire boost as well, too. So, he should be able to stay in Final Form to get this done.
You know what? Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't know that he should just not use magic on a shield that's immune to it.
Nah, just keep using magnet or magic. It will eventually break, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that thunder is going to work really well.
Just use Blizzard, right? Use Blizzard on the Blizzard guy.
You're going to laugh. He's not immune.
He's not immune to Blizzard.
No, he's not immune to Blizzard, but you know who is?
Who?
Demix. The water guy's immune to ice, but the ice guy isn't.
That's an interesting fact. I thought this whole time I never used Blizzard on him because I thought he was immune to Blizzard.
I'm sure he's resistant to it, but he's not immune to it.
You would think he would be immune. All right, does Walpy get bailed out? There is a magic on there, or there's a magic or something else on levels.
Well, but you don't need that. Why would you do that? Like you don't need it.
Okay, does he do
how much are we coping? I was gonna say how much are you gonna cope?
Ooh, glide. Oh, nice glide.
It will make it faster to cope right now because now you can glide up here faster.
Yeah, you cope.
Yeah, he's coping. He's coping.
He's coping so hard that there's
at some point you gotta respect it, I guess.
All right, so where's this last check? Oh, what was last check? Where's these checks on levels? Okay, we're at 39. Next check.
It's gonna be on 50.
It's always on 50.
48 or 50, 100%.
Okay.
It's what, 41,
44,
46, 48?
Yeah, then it'd be even, yeah.
Yeah, it's 40. That's 41. Then it's even the rest of it.
All right. So does he?
Because he's at this point, he's like, I've been going for these levels so much. Also, his strength is still not great for final fights. I understand this.
Third cope.
Oh no.
Aww.
Okay. I actually would agree with him going back there because at that point I'm like, either I make up the fact that I don't know why he's putting on Berserk. Berserker's not helpful in final fights. Either you cope at getting Reflect to make use of that magic stat, or you cope at getting some strength, for the love of God.
Yeah. I think he put Berserk on to try to get some strength stat because he has
Yeah,
Hardy, so he can still do
you get 2 strength from it, so like it would be nice. The only concern I have is the armored fights will super armor and final damage will go out of bounds. So
yeah, it will be nice until you put yourself in a position that's just not nice anymore.
Does he has aerial spiral, so once he catches armored, he will be able to go from phase to phase safely. So
yeah,
he has a bit of an out at least.
Watch, there's just a reflect on 46, and he just should have just done one more trip.
I mean, I'm sure he will be thrilled because I think he should.
Oh, IBA entered HB2 when he didn't mean to. He tried to turn around and leave, but realized there's no safe spot there. All right, probably gonna leave here and actually, yeah, he's gonna go to TR. All right, so does Walpe get 46? Probably not, right?
I don't think he gets 46.
I don't think there's enough enemies here for him to get 46.
There might be because he's still close to 45, so I think that he might.
Yeah, it'll be very close.
Because you should think like 600. So there's a chance. Yeah, he'll get 46. Yeah, there's exactly enough.
Yeah.
Unless they're one of the suicides. Which okay, he didn't, but he thought about it.
Okay, 46? No,
it's 48, 50, that's what I said.
Oh, man. I could just imagine Walpe just there, just trying to cope. And like, just let it be on 46. Even if you have to manually reflect, it's still better than not having to reflect.
Absolutely.
It's not fun.
That would have been the craziest cope if that worked, though.
Yeah, so...
He's going to go for a duck flare here. Yep.
Yeah. B-charge, Hori. And the Flare Force going after all the clones behind him. Couple Thunders, and he's done through AX1. Meanwhile, IBA gets their Wisdom 5 and getting through Windows to finish up with Future Pete. I think even with the loadless, with the loadless difference, still...
WallpeSH still easily has this.
Yeah.
I mean... Final Attempt is gonna suck. He's one strength above the floor. He's gonna do basically near level 1 damage. Whenever using that. I don't think he equipped auto limit. So...
Yeah, so...
I'm very curious. I'm assuming he's just gonna spam session and go for all ends.
Yeah.
To do any type of damage.
I think you have enough item slots and items. You got a money pouch early, so you have more than enough to get through it. But Reflectless Zem is usually a good equalizer.
That it is, and IBA is using the auto limit very well, so there's a chance that he can cope that.
Yeah. No second chance, no once more, no reflect. It's Final Zem is what, one shot? You get one shot and that's it by him. I think you probably could take two.
At this defense, you might be able to take a hit. Not with this HP. Yeah, he's dead if he takes a hit.
Yeah.
There's a chance that you can cope the Vine, but you definitely are not going to live any of his physical hits or the...
Oh!
Yeah, you see how quickly he got taken by lasers, which means his elemental resistance isn't even very high.
Yeah.
Because that's Thunder, that would be helping him there.
Yeah. And even taking the lasers in Final Zem, you get caught by one, you're getting caught by them all.
Yep.
So this kind of brings IBA back just a little bit. IBA needs Walpe to take a couple more deaths during
I was
these
gonna say
fights.
it's either how many domes or how many third phase Armored Xemnas 2 deaths.
Is that the new one? How many?
That might be the new one.
phase?
How many times do I? How many times do I have to do the entire fight of AX2?
I'm gonna go with. If I'm taking a wild guess, probably 5. Probably a little bit more than that.
A lot of deaths.
Yeah, it's a lot of deaths. And IBA taking a early death to Future Pete.
What would have been crazy is if he got that reflect from levels, then that would be the epitome of Walpe never gets punished.
Yeah, and I was thinking that
I
when
would
we
have
were
solidified
saying
it.
when we were saying it, I was like, "Watch, there's gonna be a reflect on levels, and he's never gonna get punished."
It's gonna be really funny when we find out that 50 had a cure.
50 had a cure. 48 and 50 have a cure.
They can.
All right, so he's just using Trinity Limit to get through this. Oh, okay.
I
Kinda scary there,
understand. He's just like, get me out of this fight. Like,
Yeah. All right, so final Zem. The
at this point in
session
the
span-
scene, you're like, I know my opponent's probably also reflectless. This sucks. Let me just live.
Yeah.
You know, there you go.
Speaking of living. All right, so IBA done with their objectives, gonna head into final fights. While Walpe is in final fights, or final Zem, that is. Yeah, he's just gonna session spam this. Is he gonna try to B-Horium? No.
So theoretically, you can.
Yeah.
He's just gonna do a little bit of a long combo here because it does work. Yikes! He banked on when it was coming back, but unfortunately he did the base attack right before it came back, so it did an aerial spiral instead of a finisher. If he did a finisher, he would have been safe on the ground.
Yeah.
So Final Xemnas can do Berserk Hori. The only issue is the going out of bounds. Sometimes Hori will move in a way where you can just continue it. I cannot replicate it. Theoretically, someone has been able to do it where they went in the circle doing Berserk Hori and was able to do the whole fight.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I guess from the looks of what he's doing right now, it's camera manip. I guess you have to do it, it looks like. Because depending on where the camera faces, it turns Sora just a bit. So more, and IBA deciding not to even. Actually, IBA strength is way better than Walpe's. Did Walpe just not do accessories and all?
That has to be, because look how much lower level IBA is.
Yeah.
I was say,
So
is IBA also using DP?
No, he's
That's
using
only
Rumbling
Rose.
Rose. Yeah.
So that Keyblade could be higher. There's a chance that Walpe put on size Hunkin for something.
Because I know they got an accessory, at least a good accessory, and a couple strength accessories. Because I saw Full Bloom Plus, they did get a Cosmic Arts. I didn't see any accessories for Magic. I might have overlooked, like, didn't see it, but that's a big difference in strength. I don't think
that whiffs. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's out.
Oh, literally like frames later.
He doesn't have any items either. So he has to be careful with where he's going to... Okay, so he's going to try to all ends it and take Dome. Because he doesn't have any items to replenish his magic.
There's a chance, depending on where All's End puts you, that you can still get it.
Yeah.
Oh, but apparently he didn't stun lock them. Oh, he missed. No, he got him.
No, he got it.
So yeah, this will put him at dome, but there's a chance that if he's close enough, he can get him. Yeah, he. Oh my gosh. No!
Not the lasers. He almost
okay.
got hit by the lasers. Yeah.
No dying is not faster.
Yeah.
When you reflectless, it is not faster.
Yeah. You 100% take the dome here. You're not going to go through that again. That was if he was just a little bit further in, or Walpe got him at a different angle, he would have been able to dome skip with the B-Hori.
Yeah, the fact that he was actually close enough to him, and unfortunately the lasers were getting him.
Yeah. I think if he got hit by all three of those lasers that were out, then... Because he only got hit by, what, one of them, I think it was? Because he dodged the first two missed when he was doing B-Hori. So I think he only got hit by one of them. But I think if he got hit by all three, then he would have had to do the fight again.
Yeah, definitely does not have a lot of elemental resistance.
Yeah, so enjoy the minute 30 of this cutscene.
Yeah, a little bit of movie night here.
Yeah. How long has it been since you've seen this cutscene?
I got domed the other night.
Okay.
But I didn't watch it, so...
Yeah, it's been a very long time since I've seen this cutscene.
It's basically the same from speedruns that I've never seen this cutscene.
Yeah. Alright. Get your GGs out for...
Alright. GG's to Walpe.
GG's Walpe. IBA not far behind. Does have a minute on low list, but it's just not going to be enough to be able to get through it.
Yeah, these fights just take so long without reflects. So what people might not be considering is Final Xemnas is one of the worst designed fights in the game, and they fix a lot of his issues in the data fight. Because every laser phase in the data fight, you get a punish. You don't get a punish ever in laser phase in base. Like, and I don't mean like, oh, you almost never. You do not get a punish. Ever. He will never stagger.
You know, I never noticed that. But
in the data fight, after each set of lasers, if you catch him after the double, he can be staggered. Which is why I would rather do the reflectless data fight any day of the week. But yeah, so I think we're gonna. I'm not sure if we're watching IBA finish this out, but I will say as for our time here, that will most part be the end of us here. We are still going to come back for Slim vs. Herdez at 9 EST today. So coming up at the top of the hour, but we're going offline before that. And then, of course, after that fight, will be followed by Raiden versus Star, which will also be a very good fight. Two very, very good matches to see. Of course, with my co-commentator here, we'll be putting up a fight against Slim.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Got to root for the homie here.
Yes, so we'll see how it goes. Should be fun. But yeah, thanks for joining the Rando today. Like Double said, we'll be back shortly after a break.